Oh yeah! What's going on, YouTube? TeeP back here with another Tips with TeeP. This time, we're starting off with Evac Hardpoint. Basically, I'm going to explain the flow of the map, the ideal situations, and how to prioritize kills, spawns, and scrap time on each of these hills. Starting off on this side, it's just sort of a face smash. I don't think it's worth going anywhere else but to hill and taking these fights, and hopefully they end up in your favor. A lot of the time, teams will send multiple people either hop up, this wall run, top balcony, and occasionally they'll send a guy around to flank either kitchen or Z, as we call it right here at these steps. Basically, it's a scrappy hill. Face smash in, gun them, and get as much time as possible. This side is the better side, I would say, because if you're able to hold the spawns here at this back red room, helipad, platform area, it's going to set you up for the next hill, which is in this back kitchen. So, if you get a lot of intro kills here, it seems quiet in the hill, you're racking up a lot of time. Notice that they're probably either going to be A, flanking all the way around that tree side to try and flip the spawns there, or most of the time, just giving up, 20, 30 seconds and try and smash into this second hill before you're able to get it. Explaining from the other side, same sort of thing. You're going to try and smash in, hop in from this balcony, and just do your best to win some gunfights in the hill, pop nades in, make sure you don't get naded. You catch the other team off guard and try and net as much time as possible. Again, if you get the intro kills, they're going to try and hold that side rather than trying to fight you as much because the spawns for the next hill are so much more important. If you have spawns for second hill, you're going to win it pretty easily. Moving on, you want to try and get rotation over here. Putting a time on it never is a good way to do it. It's all dependent on when you get kills, when you think they're going to be flanking, and basically just, it's in-game sense at that point. You know when they're going to be rotating, you know when you should be over-rotating, giving up scrap time on that middle hill, etc. Know when you need to hold the back, know where they're pushing from. Information is huge on the rotation to the second hill. If your guy playing platform right here sees 3 people crossing to the back right here, don't challenge a gunfight. Back up, play your life, buy as much time as possible, because if they're taking the wide route, you can just sit pretty in hill, 4-stack in, and get as much time as possible before they're able to even have a break attempt. Basically, if you have setup, if you have spawns on this map, it's very easy to hold. You have a player right here watching hallway, an AR right here is ideal, just watching. They have to push in from the front door. They can push from the top steps, which is really easy. You can pop nades, pre-fire. It's a really thin hallway. If they're going to try and slide in on you or wall run in, very easy to get kills as you can just pre-fire. They could wall run around and try and flip spawns from that way as well. But most of the time that's easy to hear. The person in the hill should be able to at least see it, maybe hear it. You have an idea most of the time if it's quiet on other areas of the map. Also, they can come through Z, so if basically it's really tough for them to try and break in as long as you're coordinating effectively, not getting caught off guard, and taking good gunfights in this hill, you're going to net most of the time. Ideally, after holding time on this hill, let's say there's 25 seconds left, you really want to try and get aggressive out on the front of this hill, push through and try and get the spawns here for this front laundry hill for the third. If you're able to make them spawn out behind you when you're holding scrap, that's the perfect situation. You're able to pick up some scrap time on this. If this guy dies and they're holding scrap, that sucks, but it's worth it because you're going to get spawns for the next hill over there at third. Basically, if you're holding scrap time on second, trying to push out the third, a lot of the time using this side wall run, using up top, getting your ARs up here to get this first gunfight here, maybe hitting the mid wall run, basically trying to catch the first guy in their setup off guard, pick him off, and then try and break after that. That's a good coordination on pushing of how to break, but spawns are very important here. Once again, if you're spawning at the back laundry over here, more often than not, you're going to get the most of the time on this third hill. Your subs are able to push up, get pressure, and spawn right back up behind the hill and pick it up so you can keep constant aggression on this front side. Always good to have a player at this back box over here. Very easy to peek, gain information, put shots down range while still being safe from many different areas. You can also hang this right here, watch your top, watch the right push, etc. One tip really quickly is if you're setting up, they're getting scrap time at old. Sometimes it's good to watch. You don't necessarily need to push out and push up to glass over here. But as long as you're watching this cross, a lot of the time, on rotation, they're going to try and wrap all the way around you to this back AC and try and flip the spawns, because this spawn at the back is the most useful spawn. Same sort of thing as I explained on all the hills. Find them, put pressure on them, make them take gunfights before they put pressure on the hill. Most of the time, they're going to try and get this top platform control, because that's the easiest way to break from. If they're able to kill the guy up here, they get control, they have much better gunfights, they have height advantage, they're going to try and break you from that. A lot of the time, a heat wave or kinetic will go down on this hill, because that's a lot of the time when it's the best to break with those specialists, probably on this hill or glass hill. Basically set up, if your guy in hill right here calls out 3 pushing front, your teammates don't really need to watch the flank as much, because they're pushing front. Put your emphasis on top AC control, and then again, if you see nothing front, they're obviously going these middle wall runs, trying to get top AC control, going mid room, far right, etc. Find them, kill them, try and hold this back spawn as well as possible, and net as much time as you can. The flow from 3rd to 4th hill is simply get to this pillar side control, get mid control, get a guy up top glass, and try and win these initial rotation gunfights. Definitely want a sub player roaming around in hill, pushing out middle, while your AR players are able to gain info from top glass. Maybe have a sub player playing water right here. Definitely a good spot. You can watch middle from here pretty safely. Basically, just using the map, movement mechanics, and your gun skill to your advantage on this glass hill. It can be a pretty scrappy one, because there's a lot of ways to break from. It's very easy to set up a pinch due to the spawns, but basically, the ideal setup is a player in hill, one guy roaming around top glass, putting down shots if they're pushing tree, or vice versa from laundry side. One guy in hill, a sub player pushed out at middle, watching the mid wall run, the mid room, or big door, depending on what spawn the other team's getting. And possibly the other player pushing out on whatever side that the other team is spawning and pushing from. So let's say you get 3 or 4 dead. You know they're spawning at that back laundry. Instead of having 2 people roaming around the hill, push one out, get to this pillar control, so they have to take a gunfight on your guy out front, and he's able to kill one, gain information, and occupy them as your player in the hill is safe and able to pick up a lot of time. Vice versa, if you kill them all, know where they're spawning over here at Red Room, push out, make them take gunfights at this tree. You have a head glitch, buy as much time as possible, and net yourself a lot of time in the hill, make them take crappy gunfights as you're racking up the time. Pretty simple. It's easy to notice when you're getting pinched, but if you don't have middle control, they can very easily slide in, kill your player in the hill, and these fights can be pretty tough for the player in hill if they're able to just camera glitch you in a sense. So, more often than not, if you don't have middle control, it's gonna mess you up in the long run. If you have middle control, it's very easy for this player to run around, play corners, get a lot of easy kills at middle, and tell your team where they're spawning at. The flow from glass to the middle hill is pretty simple. You want to try and get this top balcony control most of the time. And it all depends on what side your team has control of at the later seconds of this hill. If you're holding if you're holding red room side helipad, it's the same sort of thing. You play it, you try and get in the hill, get your ARs to the power positions like top balc right here, or vice versa. Just smash in a hill. This is one of the scrappiest hills in the game. There's lots of things to wall run on, these boxes to hide behind, lots of spots to watch from. So, pretty scrappy. Not too much strategy. Go with your teammates. Take good gunfights while breaking into the hill. And just use your tacticals, your gun skill, movement mechanics to your example, and team push them out. Scrappiest hill in the game. Use it to your advantage. Just find them and gun them. Not too much strategy on this mid hill. But once again, if you're going to that second hill, this side is better to have. If you can flip the spawns over here, it's a very good thing to do. Pretty straightforward map. Hopefully the flow makes sense to you, and the sort of ideal setups you want to have make sense. Again, this has been Tips with TeeP. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Leave your feedback in the comments if you want anything else. And I'll see you guys next time. This has been Evac Hardpoint, and I'll catch you guys later.